We had a really great year for makeup releases. I think we kind of hit this point at the end of last year where everything was kind of boring and the collections weren't fun and exciting. But I really do feel like, well, me personally, I've been so inspired by a lot of makeup releases, a lot of makeup brands recently. However, like every thing, there have been some very questionable moments in terms of makeup releases, what people are putting out there to us. So I want to hit on some things that I have tried this year so far that I really don't like. It's not the end of the year yet. It's not too late to achieve our yearly goals. Keep telling myself this. So this is the worst makeup of 2024 so far. Please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. If you watch my videos a lot, I do this. I watch so many people and then I realize that I've never actually subscribed, but their stuff comes up in my recommended, so I'm always watching them. Give this video a thumbs up. It helps a lot also. Okay, I do just also want to say these are my opinions. I know people that genuinely, of course, love these products. Just because I don't like them doesn't mean they're terrible. It just means they are not for me. And if your thoughts tend to align with mine, if we have a similar skin type, then you may find this informative. The first one is the Kosas BB cream, right? The BB Burst Tinted Gel. Listen, I like a gel texture. Gel textures to me work better on oilier skins. It just works with oilier skin better and with dry skins because it doesn't grip to texture. It doesn't make pores look even more open. Gel textures in general, beautiful. Love. Most of my skincare before I do makeup is a gel texture. Now something about this product, it wasn't good on my skin. Here's the deal. So I put it on after I'd done my skincare, my normal skincare. I do have oily skin, but at this point in your routine, my skin type shouldn't have really mattered. The texture, yes, but the type, no. So for me as a professional makeup artist, right, I can use a product and I can imagine how it would sit on loads of different skin types. This I can imagine working really well on a drier skin. Here's the deal where I have to give this product some credit. It's true to what a BB cream should be. I think I mentioned in a video previously, I don't know when these are going out. No, it's a video coming up. BB creams from brands nowadays or tinted moisturizers just tend to be lightweight foundations. So when I use this formula, it is very true to what a BB cream should be. You know, it should be that lightweight skincare-esque kind of formula and texture. When I immediately put this on my skin, I didn't enjoy I didn't enjoy it. I did not enjoy the texture, the formula, it's almost as though it didn't want to work with my skin. It didn't want to blend with my skin. One thing I've learned from my experience of makeup is when you put a foundation on initially, most of the time, no matter what your skin type, you're not gonna know how it's truly gonna sit on the skin for maybe a minute, you know what I mean? So when I put this on, the fact that it was immediately no was enough for me to be like, no, I'm not interested. The texture is the killer for me. This wet cream. It was really strange. It's just a big no for me. I do know a lot of people like this, and I do want to say I do like Kosas products. Their Cloud Set is one of my absolute favorite powders, for example, and I also like their sunscreens as well, and their concealer, and their other foundation, and their bronzers. I like a lot from this brand. However, this was a miss. One thing I tried very recently that was very kind of gifted to me, and so was that BB cream, was the Flower Nose Midsummer Dream collection, whatever it was called. Beautiful products, really, really beautiful. What's funny is they actually, the palette I used in that video doesn't actually exist. They sent it to me, I used it, and they later on emailed me and said, due to some kind of error, some kind of shipping error, that palette isn't actually available. It doesn't exist in those shades. So the texture was nice, the formula was nice. However, there was a liquid highlighter within that collection that I just don't understand. I don't think I've ever used a formula like that before. Just wanted to top up my lip there you go. The only way I can describe this is if you've ever worked with liquid latex, right? It's almost as if I put a very fine layer of liquid latex on my face and then try to blend it out. And in my mind, when I tried it, I was like, hey, maybe this could be my fault. I did a bit of powder before, and this is a cream product. You can cheat that sometimes, but to give it the benefit of a doubt and a fair test, I took everything off, didn't do any powders underneath. Still, it was like trying to blend rubber into my skin. It was really, really difficult. The color, the shine, stunning. The other highlighters that were more like fleshy tones, beautiful, but these had a little bit more of a pure gold look and like a pure pink, you know, those really metallic high shine ones you get. It was more like that, and it did not resonate. with me at all. It was really hard to put on, and it's almost like you put it on your face and it instantly set. There was no time to blend it out, and I did use quite a lot the first time, but then it went in with a minimal amount before, thinking maybe I need to act quicker, maybe I need to be faster. Not it. It just did not like my face. It didn't like my face. Like I said, I adored the rest of the collection. Their lip products, actually, I want to try more of them. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. This one highlighter, I'm not sure what happened there with the formula. Had it been a different formula, a different texture, it would have been a perfect shade, a beautiful product. If you like that high shine, metallic kind of finish. Okay, can we talk about the L'Oreal setting spray? This horrible, horrendous hairspray in a can. It is just leftover hairspray, I'm convinced, allegedly, in my opinion. Love L'Oreal products, right? Great. True Match? Beautiful. Love, 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 love. This is just... Okay, I'm going to start by saying this. People love it out there. They love it. And it truly does hold. My one concern is the texture and the smell. You better hold your breath and leave the room after you finish spraying it, because it is hairspray. It smells just... If you ever use Elnet, L'Oreal's Elnet, and I believe it's fragrance. It has to be fragrance because it's just so over the top, unless the fragrance is like alcohol. You know what I mean? And listen, I know a lot of us used to use hairspray back in the day, and you know what we did? We had less things back then. We weren't as advanced in terms of setting spray, how to keep our makeup on for a longer time. It was a hack. It was a hack, right? And it worked. However, we've moved on. There are things you can do where you don't have to inhale hairspray into your lungs, you know, your lungs lined with hairspray. So, first concern, smells terrible. The smell hangs around. My God, does it hang around? But also the texture. If you have textured skin of any form, this grips and it almost highlights the texture. Imagine spraying hairspray on your face and then pushing it like this, and you can just see all that texture. So when you're moving your face in everyday life and you're talking like this, you're gonna see this crinkly, crepe paper-esque kind of texture. I don't care how smooth your skin is, your makeup is gonna get involved and it's gonna make this really strange texture. I didn't like it on me. I didn't like it on the back of my hand. It's not modern. It was very old fashioned. And it's almost like this product doesn't need to exist at all. This would be great for tattoo coverage, like on the body. You know what I mean? Maybe you're drawing something on your forehead, you're face painting and you want it to stay on. Magical. But just for everyday makeup, I feel like you're going to compromise the textures off your makeup and also the great texture of your face. It's going to accentuate it even more if you're not happy with that kind of thing. I know I don't want the texture here, my skin accentuated even more, looking dry, for example, and that's what that setting spray does. Are you going swimming? Great. Great, perhaps use it. Again, I know a lot of people that love this. They really, really like it. I guess it does what it says. But at what cost? You know what I mean? I don't mean physically like money, I mean at what cost to your makeup? Let's talk about, listen, I love Colourpop. I adore Colourpop. I love their formulas. I love everything about them. Not everything, that's too far. The Twilight eyeshadow palette, let's talk about it, come. The shades, disappointing. The color story, disappointing. I love a bit of nostalgia, don't get me wrong. Not that I'm very nostalgic for Twilight, because it just pissed me off the whole time when it came out. I don't think Robert Pattinson was that good looking back then. I think it was a big flop for everyone. There's a few palettes that Colourpop have done in terms of collaboration. You know I talk about the Sailor Moon one every chance I get, but there's a few also. Here's the deal. When you are relying on nostalgia to sell a product, which I don't see the problem with, it's fine, you better get it right for the fans. And I know you also can't get it right for everyone, but when there seems to be a big agreement that actually you got it wrong, give yourself another chance. You know what? Bring out Twilight 2. And I get it. I get that the palette was meant to reflect the kind of filter that was on the movie. But remember, you're making a makeup product, and makeup is a fun thing to use. You don't want 50 shades of grey. That might be the next collection, but you don't want 50 shades of green grey, because like, one, it's only going to suit a certain kind of skin tone unless it's mixed with other products, which you absolutely can use, like paler shades on deeper skin tones when it's mixed, you know, when it's around different products, different shades, sorry. But it didn't give much room for that. It didn't give much room to make cohesive looks for everyone. It was very dusty. You know what it looks like? Cremation. It looked like people were cremated and put into a palette. I'm addicted to putting this on. Okay, again, love Colourpop. I love their formers, but I did see suggestions from Twilight fans. It was like, you could have used this shade of someone's car or something. You know, red, cause blood, I guess. Okay, so this is one I haven't tried, or and I'm not going to, but I get the gist, right? Skin by Kim Kardashian's line. Where is it? Where is it? No one really talks about it. We've seen a release of the first lot of makeup, which was grossly overpriced for what it was. I love nudes. I love a beige, and then we saw some lip products come out, more lip products and some highlighters. Other than that, it's been extremely underwhelming and severely overpriced. There's no hype about it. There's some love for it, but usually it's just people who are fans of Kim Kardashian, which is fine, like who you like. But here's the thing. I think what happens, right, with releases like this. It releases, and then I see a lot of influencers talk about it, right? I feel like only influencers buy it. And then they kind of like hype it up and love it in hopes that maybe Kim Kardashian will see it and notice they exist, and then they don't care anymore about it. And although people did desperately want her to bring back, I think it was a certain lip color, a lip pencil color, you don't see anyone being like, oh, I love reaching for my Skin by Kim's eyeshadow palette. You don't see that. Not that I think that is what a brand needs to be successful nowadays, because it's one product after the other. But if I had a makeup brand, I would like it to be like a household name where people can rely on it and trust it, and it's something they think about using daily. So I think a lot of the hype over brands like Kim Kardashian's brand comes from mainly influencers hoping that Kim might see them use her product, you know, and score some points of her. And you know, it's like, come on, we really need to like get over celebrities. Okay, so last but not least, do you remember when Glossier released their was it called Stretch Fluid Foundation, right? Not their one in the squeezy tube, it was like in a glass bottle. And then they released the most ridiculous brush with it. This brush might as well, you might as well just been using the plastic on it. It was very small and curved to, I guess it was meant to fit the contours of the face, and give you like a flawless backwards and forwards application. It was terrible. It was so dense and close to the skin. If you're using something really dense, right, and rubbing it backwards and forwards or moving it backwards and forwards, initially you're going to get quite a big application, a strong, heavy application, I should say. You use a dense brush like this and you tap it in, you're going to get something really strong and heavy in terms of coverage because the brush is dense and thick. However, if I start rubbing outwards, it's going to move the product a lot. So if you're using a small brush like that, which is pretty much just a line of brush hair that's about that long at the most, it's going to displace your foundation. Not only that, but when you come to the fleshier parts of her face and you apply a tiny bit of pressure, you're blending with the handle too, because it's so close to the brush hairs. This was a big miss on their behalf. They should have gone for something a lot more lighter, a lot more like a bit less denser, where you have a fuller hairs on the bottom and it's like thinner on top. So you get that blend, but you get like a nice natural application. I know this brand mainly focus their products to people who already have really good skin, so it's just meant to be a tin of product. But the brush wouldn't be good for anything. I don't think that brush would be good for anything, not even applying like fake tan. I think it's a terrible brush. Maybe for painting. It's just awful. I get the gimmicky part, I get it's easy to carry around. I actually even quite liked the fact that you can kind of like roll it around on itself and shut it, and that was really cute. The brush wasn't it though. It really wasn't good. It would have been better, was it maybe if a brush was domed and it was like this circle and you just went on top, because then you can kind of almost like flick and wipe and go backwards and forwards at the same time. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. Let me know any products that you think are a big miss. The worst product you have used this 2024 doesn't even have to be released this year. If you use it this year for the first time, then it's new to you, right? Let me know down below in the comments. I look forward to reading those. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.